Do you know what your product really is? Most of the CTOs and tech executives I work with can very easily say what the different features are. They can draw the architecture on a whiteboard if needed, but this is not really what product mastery is all about. This is maybe the baseline, the prerequisite to start with, but this is not generally product mastery. It's more like implementation details. What I see too often is that there is a clear product market gap. You understand the product as it is, you understand the features in it, but do you actually understand the context within which it exists and why and where it should be going? That's the understanding of the market. That's actually a major part of the product mastery skill that I keep talking about, and see how it can really transform what it means to be a tech leader. But this part of product mastery is the easiest one to ignore, even though it's often the most valuable one, the juiciest one. In this video, we're gonna talk about what this hidden part or often neglected part means, how you can work on it, and what you should be expecting to see from making this effort. By the way, if you're new here, hi, I'm Aviv Ben-Yosef. I'm a tech executive coach and consultant, and I help people just like you create teams worth leading, because that's too short to lead a mediocre team. And something that I think is very relevant here is the fact that for years I've been talking about the importance of tripling impact per engineer, but the fact that this was even possible. And even now, with all those coding agents, you're probably not seeing triple impact per engineer. And you know why? Code by itself is rarely the bottleneck. Maybe these things can allow us to get to MVPs, to POCs faster. But when we're talking about the actual work of creating a real product through years of work, those things actually require a real deep understanding of the product, of the context within which we're working. That's something that coding agents right now cannot really help us with. But having real product mastery with the market part in it is something that can make a huge difference. And we're going to be covering exactly that. So how can you tell if you're really lacking? The question is, okay, I'm assuming that you have the implementation parts down. You understand the actual product. But the question is, how much do you understand what's happening in the outside? Whenever I talk about product mastery, we start from the actual product, because if you don't understand it, especially, I don't know, if you're a new CTO in a company that already has an established product, you have to understand by actually understanding the product itself. What can it do? What its capabilities are before you can start thinking bigger and longer term. But assuming you have that down, what do you understand about the context within which this product exists? For example, can you really tell what your clients are thinking? Why are they choosing your product over what other competitors have? Do you even know what the competition is? Like, okay, you probably know the name of the company, but what actually are they doing? And maybe the real choice that most prospects see between your product and another option is the option of maybe not doing anything, or maybe it's doing it by themselves. You have to understand that. Do you understand the regulation and the difficult maybe market that you're in with, because regulation keeps changing, or because we're afraid of what this administration might do, or having that reversal, or waiting to get a final decision from the SEC about that possibility. Those are things in some market that are really, really tangible and can really make a huge difference. And when we don't understand that, it often means that we're lacking a connection between what the product actually is doing and what the product can do, because we're only looking at, okay, what we shipped, because the product told us to do X and we did that. But if you understand the context, it's as if all of a sudden you start seeing things in 3D. You can actually understand, oh, we're here and we want to get there, and there's, there are all these things in the way, and we can choose now a path. It's not just, okay, this list of features, but you understand the context, you can understand the different paths, different opportunities. And that added context is what makes makes any CTO a genuine executive in the company. Because if you don't have that, You just have to be handed down the feature list and execute on it. If you understand what's happening around you, if you understand the context the company is operating within, you can actually be a very, very valuable bridge between the product, between the business and the tech part, because you can bridge this gap. Understanding what's happening means that you might come up with interesting ways of approaching things, ask the right questions. These are invaluable, especially nowadays that we're able to move really fast. But if we don't know where we're headed, we're just gonna be, burning out a bunch of tokens without a lot of actual impact to show for it. So what I want you to do right now is understand that if you have this gap, if you don't understand the market well enough, but you just have the internal parts down, you need to start thinking about how you can quickly cover that gap and learn what's happening outside. Here are a few things that I do often with my clients that help a lot. One, if you're lucky enough to work in an area where there are some big public companies already operating on things that are relevant, start reviewing their quarterly filings. It might sound weird at first, but especially now with LLMs, you can dig through these really fast and gain the nuggets that you need to understand, for example, what their tech actually looks like and how their engineering organization is working. What are they focusing on? I can assure you that in too many startups, even the product people are not doing this. But whenever I work with tech executives who actually take the time to understand what's happening around, they get so many ideas. They understand the context so much better. It's like the difference between driving in an area you've never been to and you don't have GPS and you have to keep looking at a physical map from time to time, and driving through the neighborhood you grew up in. You know what's coming ahead. You understand all the different corners and what's coming and where you should be slowing down or where you can be going faster. Yeah, it's not going to be as easy as that, but it's really that big of a difference when you have that context. So see what others are doing. If you have public competitors, if you're tackling that sort of a beast, you might as well gain everything you can out of it and enjoy the fact that they have to show what's happening and you don't. So start doing that, start going through those. Number two is to ensure that you have a regular connection with your actual users and with the prospects. You don't have to sit through the sale calls, even though from time to time that might be a good exercise, but at least get the feedback regularly from product who probably, I hope, have user interviews. So see what people are saying about what you've already shipped. Use things like Gong.io to see what actually people are saying about why they would choose your product or not when it comes down to sales calls. Have regular time with the customer success team to see what are the biggest issues for your clients, what people have in mind, what they actually find easier to do and what isn't easy, what they're surprised by, what keeps popping up as a regular area, what people actually are worried about but not really as part of your product, and maybe it should be. So those are the things that we only understand if we have that regular connection with the users. I hated working at IBM where we had 20 letters between me and the customers of the code I was writing. I don't even know if anyone ended up using it. You want to have some sort of regular connection with the outside world so you can sense what you're doing. You can actually understand what's happening. And number three, I want you to regularly sit down and think about the context of the roadmap. I'm sure you know the roadmap, but when you're working, for example, on your quarterly goals, and when the company is talking about what's being prioritized or not, you have to ensure that you understand the why, not just the what you're being asked to do. Yeah, it's good to know and understand what so you can actually build the right thing. But you also need to understand, why are we doing this? Why right now? Why this and not something else? Not as, a douche that keeps asking why and why and why just to put sticks in the wheels and make sure that nothing moves. But being the person that's so curious, that really wants to understand what's happening, so you have that context and you can make a lot of better decisions, or you can suggest some things. This will set you apart from the average CTO, from the regular tech executive, and help you become someone that can make the team drive impact and value so fast that you'll be a force to be reckoned with. And this is, well, from my point of view, sitting in this seat, that's the only way to lead an organization, to spend your life without wasting it, if that's the career path you've chosen. Because otherwise, you're just whiling time away. You're allowing people to do things and feel good about themselves, but they're not going to get the real meaty impact that makes us motivated, that moves things forward, that makes the company a success, that helps you have those things you're going to be proud about doing 10 years into the future. Those are the career highlights that we want to aggregate, that we want to accumulate, not because of the financial success, even though that's nice, but because as humans, that's what I believe in. I'm sorry for the kumbaya moment, but that's what I'm trying to help the companies I work with have. Those successes that ensure that we're not just wasting our lives, because again, life's too short for that. That's it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I read all the comments, and you also have my email in the video description. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. It really helps. And I'll see you here in the next video. Ciao.